Mike's Daily Podcast.
Hi there. You are listening to a podcast that I have made. My name is Mike Matthews. We've been doing this show for a while.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
We're up to 1880. Oh my God. 1880. 1880. My gosh. Could you be a lady? I think you could, because love be a lady too. Luck be a lady tonight, because it's Mike's Daily Podcast. It's all right. 1880 was a fantastic year. There was like the Wild West.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
There was Will Smith and Kevin Kline, and they were shooting spiders and things in the Wild Wild West.
Daily.
Hey, it's Mike.
Podcast.
Wild Wild West.
Yeah!
Thanks for listening to this podcast today, because we are broadcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Ton, the last place on earth. So we're doing this show almost daily these days. I'm very proud of ourselves here because, well, sometimes life gets tough. Sometimes you get chewed out for stupid things.
Mike, how come blah, 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 blah?
Well, you know what? Maybe it's because of something that I have no control over. Don't blame me. Don't you hate being the scapegoat? That's not right. So my lovely lady friend is not on this show. If you'd like to hear my lovely lady friend, she's on the last show, 1879. But she told me a very interesting expression that she heard. Am I right? Am I right? The letter I, right. Which I think people just spell R-I-T-E, and they spell it as one word. Am I right? Which is something people say a lot. A lot of millennials say this. Hey, by the way, millennials are going to surpass baby boomers, or they already have this month. They surpassed the Gen Xers quite a while ago. Baby boomers have long since...
And here's today's podcast picture.
Been ahead of Gen Xers. Now, let me tell you this. I'm a Gen Xer. I cannot believe this news. So the Gen Xers were a non-starter. There was never enough of us to begin with. We were endangered from the start. Endangered and... Xers, Gen Xers, endangered Gen Xers. It's the Endangered Gen Xer podcast. That's what I think it'd be called as I think about these things in your ear hole right now as you are listening. The podcast picture today. Well, so here's the thing. I'm trying to find a picture for my job. And it's Basil. There's the show I do on the weekends at this radio station, and they want a picture of me. And I want to give them a very recent picture, but, well, alas, I can't seem to find any that don't have me with Basil the Boxer, that don't have me standing on a hill somewhere in Mother Nature, the world behind me, or a sunset or something natural behind me. So I'm trying like crazy to get a picture for that, and oh, my cell phone is the worst quality ever. It takes pictures like there is a fog in front of it. So what I'm happy to tell you is that that's not the podcast picture, is the picture that I took of myself in a situation where it looks like a fog. I think we'll go with something fairly recent, which included Basil and I as we were walking over... Oh, this is over there at Lake Chabot on a beautiful day, and we're both smiling and happy, Basil the Boxer and I. See that picture? Actually, that was a week ago. See it at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Basil has a little bit of a walking problem on his back legs, and I have to hold him up, but his front legs are doing so well. So that is the podcast picture. You can see that now at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Eric Swalwell is no longer the president, and I guess, or is no longer running for president. But whatever, I don't care, because he was not. Are you even trying to think about the elections next year? It seems like it's not going to happen for the Democrats. And I mean that in the most positive way. Hey, I heard about a radio show called The Citizen from Radiotopia. Radiotopia does these podcasts, and one of them is called Adultish. Have I heard these? No. Have I been listening to podcasts lately? No. I haven't had the time. It's been like one thing after another in my world. So, well, for example, I may or may not own property in another state. And, well, here's the thing is when you own property in another state, from time to time, you're going to have to, pay through the nose for things to be repaired and fixed. And I guess that's what's going to happen for me, is I have to do something, or I may or may not have to do that for the property that At any rate, that was, somebody, here's an interesting factoid you may not know. As we tell you a little bit about the radio world that I am from, you have to be careful because that little thing that allows you to listen to the radio station is a very powerful device. Not only are the words sharper than the sword, or the pen is, I guess, but there were two possible copper thieves that broke into this one transmitter. There's often a lot of copper involved with transmitters for radio stations. And these guys, this happened earlier this month. They broke in to this place in Tulsa, tried to steal copper, and there were two guys. One of them got electrocuted and died. Yes, it's that kind of a situation. People don't realize it. I actually visited a transmitter site recently. I had visited one years ago, but this was the first time I really got in there and looked at an operating transmitter site. And you got to be really careful. I mean, there is a lot of electricity being pushed through all kinds of devices, and it gets hot, so you have to have a really good cooling system. And yeah, so somebody was trying, I'll just break in and steal copper from a and that's the thing, is copper is the deal. People want it. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valentino. My point is, somebody told me the other day, they asked me a question and I gave them an answer. And they go, Mike, that's just a bunch of excuses. And I go, well, you asked the question. I gave you an answer to your question. And then they said to me, well, Mike, the answer should have been, this will never happen again. People have the craziest way of reprimanding you these days. And there are people that need to be reprimanded. There are people in the Bay Area who do not care at all about other people's property, about other people's experience. Fast food wrappers, fast food crap all over the place. There's graffiti everywhere. Even writing on BART today, people had the audacity, some idiot had the audacity of ripping cushions off of a seat. Just ripping them off. What are you doing? Why is that? Why are people doing that? There is no reason to behave like that. How is BART supposed to exist? How is anything supposed to exist with idiots tearing stuff down? Here we are in 2019. You would think we would have gotten past all of this. But people want to break it down again, as the Tears for Fears said once upon a time. Actually, it wasn't the full Tears for Fears band, just one of them, Rolling Orzable. There I go with my 80s info again. And if you want to hear me talk about 80s music and play some 80s music, I'm going to do it tomorrow morning from 6 to noon on KKDV. You can check it out at kkdv.com if you are not in the Bay Area. But if you are in Contra Costa County area, tune into 92.1 FM and you'll hear a little me something saying a little something. And that one of those things being that there is, some 80s music references and whatnot. But breaking it down is what people do. And I do not like that at all. And I'm sick of it. And I know that it's an old man thing. The older you get off my property. Oh, by the way, my Russian neighbors have really toned it down quite a bit. And I applaud them. Thank you. They don't listen to this podcast, but if they did, maybe that's why they toned it down a little bit. I don't know. Thank you. Because it's people, it's the thing is the older you get, the more you realize, do people not care about anybody? Do people just not care? No, it's not true. I know there are a lot of people that care. There are a lot of caring people in this world. And I salute you for being so in a world that can be very mean to you. But, man. And anywho, I would like to say there's someone I know that I've known for a long time who is trying to make it in the comedy world. And I congratulate her. I think, did she just turn 30? Well, the older you get, I think the better you get at comedy. It's very difficult to start off young. Jerry Seinfeld started off young. Many comedians start off young. And I think the older you get, the better the comedy gets. That's the same I think about music, too. If you're a musician, when you're young, you got your style down, you got the basics down, but do you got hit the actual experience down, life down, soul? Is there soul in there playing? I think I was trying to talk about that with my lovely lady friend last show about music and style over substance, etc. But this lady I know, Colleen Sullivan, is trying very hard in Los Angeles to make a name for herself, and she's doing comedy clubs, and I'm very impressed. I tried stand-up comedy once. I did it in high school, and that was a whole other experience because I had a bunch of friends in the audience cheering me on, and that was great. But to actually do stand-up in a club where no one knows you and everyone's against you, it's tough. Everybody, Greg Proops was once asked, the comedian Greg Proops, very funny guy, how do you do comedy? What's the secret? What advice do you give to comedians? And he says, just remember, we're all rooting for you. Everyone in the audience wants you to succeed. Well, it doesn't feel that way when you're up there. It feels like everyone wants you to fail badly. So Colleen Sullivan is getting up there, and she's trying her best, and I applaud her. And I think I still have her phone number somewhere. I need to text her and tell her, keep at it, don't give up. Peter Gabriel, Kate Bush the hell out of that thing. That's a reference to the 80s, too. And make the best, be yourself is what I want to tell her. Be yourself. Don't give up and have fun. That's the thing, is to have fun up there. Because in the end, even if all those people hate you, who cares? It mattered if you got up there and had fun. If you died, who cares? You got up there and had fun dying on stage. But if you really died on stage, well, then it wouldn't matter anyway because you wouldn't be alive to experience what the hell just happened. So stay away from copper wires at transmitter sites. Don't give up on your dreams. Get up there and suck on stage. Be awful. Be terrible. And maybe do a character voice now and then like this. Hello, Michael Masters, Madame Rootabega. What are you talking about? I'm a real person. Oh! Yes, you're a real person here at Cafe Anyway outside in the patio area. And you can see a picture of Cafe Anyway and the lovely umbrellas we have and bicycles parked out front at MikesDailyPodcast.com. What's up, madam? Michael Marcio, I'm very good at comedy. Oh! Tell a joke. All right. Once upon a time, there was a priest, a rabbi, and a salesman. And they went into a bar, and the bartender said, "Why is a long face?" Ooh. Wait, was one of them supposed to be a horse in that story? No. I don't really get that joke. But look who else is here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, I can't tell jokes, but I can tell the time. The time is not end the show day. because I got nothing to say. Take that microphone away from me, Day.
You, all of a sudden, you sound really. I don't like you got a little. You weren't quite yourself today, Valentino.
What are you talking about, Day?
I don't know. I don't really believe that's your real accent that you have.
Shut up.
All right. Bicycles parked at Cafe Anyway. See that picture at MikesDailyPodcast.com and tell me what you think. What do you think, people? What's the biggest roadblock to dreams these days? Is it people not caring? Is it people that is it not even people? Is it just money? Is it just too many millennials? Is it just the weather? 336MM Daily. Tell me what you think. 336MM Daily. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the engineer as we wrap up the show with Ariel saying something here. Go for it, Ariel.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!